Since we're looking to keep the Century, we need to spruce up those old halogen headlights. AUXITO is at it again. Here we go. This car, being as nice as it is, needs to look a lot better in the front. Thank you, shout out to Jackson from AUXITO here for sending me a set of these. I ended up having to buy more too because, you know, there's a lot of bulbs in a Toyota Century. This is the Y19 set. These are the H4 headlights. They're high beam, low beam too. I believe the Century has 2 high beam bulbs. There's the one that comes off the H4, and then there's also an HB3 or an HB4 or something. Now you have the set of white gloves, perfect for driving a Toyota Century and not actually installing the headlights, but you should probably wear them just so you don't get grubby stuff on your hands. They're nicely packaged like this. Take one out. I'm going to show you something particular about their H4 bulbs. I'm not sure if they're the same for anybody else. I'm only familiar with these because I buy these products. These are good products for me. I'm happy with their quality. Everything still works. So you can twist this off. So you can actually mount this into your, you're going to mount this into the H4 bulb socket because you know how there's like that metal retaining ring that does that. It's really hard to get that over this. Yes, you could force it, bend it, flex it, whatever to do that, but you don't need to. This comes off. It's a cool design. Then this just slips back in and turns to lock back into place. There's an important factor here. I like these bulbs. Their LEDs are placed just like the filaments on an H4 bulb. This is the original mounting point facing upwards. You can see how horizontally there are 2 filaments front and back. The forward one has like a bowl in it, and it kind of reflects all the lights upwards and not down. You're gonna look at the new LED. It has a similar design where it has 2 filaments, or LEDs in this case, which are front and back, and then there's one that is covered with something like a bowl. I think this is as good an LED bulb would get when it tries to replicate an H4 bulb. The other bulbs would be similar issues too, just because they place the filaments exactly where they would be, like same like height and like offset, but this is not a piece of glass. So a piece of glass would be round and the filaments have 360 throw. With this, it's only 90 degrees both ways. Yes, there's light that will bleed over and probably just come out the top, but I would say that's not exactly the same. However, this should still work the same in the halogen reflector because it won't change the position of where the filaments are, and it won't mess with the reflectors. If anything, now you're just losing some throw from the top and the bottom, and you're only utilizing the left and right part of the reflector more. And these being brighter, you're just increasing the intensity of this horizontal throw that goes straight. Of course, I'm only showing an H4 bulb right now. AUXITO offers like every possible bulb imaginable. I'm in the process of figuring out what LED rear bulbs I need for a different project of mine, and I'm trying to order those up. So take a look. Back before they were sending me a couple sets of these and sponsoring me, I was already buying their products and I liked them so much. I have so many of these older JDM cars. They're all 90s cars with halogen lights, especially nowadays. They're probably all worn out and all the lights are pretty yellow. So I'm just slowly working my way to AUXITOfy everything. Even though I don't drive at night as much as I used to, winter is coming and it'll start to get dark very early again soon, thus giving me some nighttime overlap. The old halogen bulbs with their low output really hurt dark time visibility, especially in the rain. AUXITOfying my fleet of cars will make my 90s JDM cars look a little bit more modern, especially timeless pieces like the Century. If you're already looking to buy some LEDs and whatnot for yourself, take a look at AUXITO here. Use my promo code ANYTHINGWHEELED or the link in my description below for 15% off your entire order. I noticed they currently have a sale that's also 15% off, but I would love if you use my promo code because it'll help me get further recognition with AUXITO and I can get more cool stuff like this to show you guys. Thank you and happy shopping. Let's open up this hood. Look at that little beautiful handcrafted Phoenix. So clean. Century headlights are really easy to access. All the bulbs are right there. Even on this side, where the thing is a little bit different, the airbox is kind of more, it's more tight here, but everything's still accessible. There are actually like 4 different bulbs in here: low beam, high beam, fog light, and I think like a marker driving light. Look at these perfect white gloves white glove treatment for a century. There's some O-rings on this one. There's less O-rings in this one. I gotta figure out which one's which and install them. So H4 and HB3. Before we start, we should also take a look at what this looks like. There's the classic halogen look. The fog lights are currently on the corners. Now you can see the corners are turned off, not very bright. The high beams really fill it up, but once again, not very bright.
Remove this like I showed you earlier. This will allow you to use your old boot with minor modifications.
Be very careful. Get that plate in there. I'm gonna try that. Now, unfortunately, this is one of the pitfalls of doing this type of stuff. The headlight boots are never big enough for these newer big bulbs. They do make smaller bulbs that are more compact like the original halogen bulb, but these things with their big heat sinks, they obviously don't fit through that hole. The pitfall here is this got ripped now. Then I started experimenting. I was like, since it's broken, I'm just gonna cut it and see if it'll fit. I also cut this side, see if it'll fit. This is a weird design. All right, so maybe I'm gonna buy myself a new boot. And what I'm gonna do is actually just cut this middle part out. It seems like the logical thing to do because this is gonna be touching the heat sink and it's better than not having this whole awkward thing. Using a really sharp pair of scissors, I cut that out. Now the bulb should freely be able to fit. Look at that masterpiece. Anyways, carrying on. Gotta disconnect this headlight bulb. This is the high beam bulb, I believe. It's a 9005 HB3 60 watt. That would be this guy. This was mounted like this, which means the filament should be this way. I don't think you can see it on camera, but I can see it through these little gaps that the filament is upright, just the way it's supposed to be. Twisting that locks it into place. The H4 has a little spring clip that locks it into place. I gotta plug that in. Now I gotta order the bulbs for this and the little one, because that's all I have for right now, just the high beam and the low beam. Here we are, super bright in the daytime. You can see that the low beam is just on. You can see that it's much whiter and much more modern looking. I think I had to adjust it a little bit. There's bulb adjustment that you can twist. Let's turn on the high beam and take a look. Now with the high beam on, with the LED is a huge difference. It is way brighter than the halogens, of course, as usual. Get this in there, turn it and lock it into place. That puts the wire on the bottom there, ready to go. I have some HB4 9006 right here. These are yellow. These are straightforward to install. You just push them in and twist. Get cut by the clips. All right.
Sorry, I was just doing a comparison here. I didn't do them in the same order, but it's low beam, high beam, fog light, and some mishmash of them. Halogens on the bottom left of the screen, and then the rest of the screen is the new LEDs.
This is just the low beams. This is just the fog lights. I really like that yellow amber. I don't know, it's hard to see it There it is. There's that yellow amber. This is the throw of the low beam with the fog light. You can see some yellow on the ground. That looks very cool. I don't think I can get the camera to focus on that. It's hard. It looks really good in person, believe me. That's the high beam throw. It's very bright, very far. Let's come out here. Oh yeah, that is high beam, all right. Looking pretty good. This is the cornering light for when a turn signal is on. That lights up this area right here. You can kind of see how there's a round light being thrown. Turn signal's in there. The right side is not on, or the left side is not on. This is all the AUXITO bulbs I have to show you for this time. Thanks for watching. Remember, when you place an order at auxito.com, you can get 15% off by using my code. Even if they have a matching code on their website by default, please use my code. It helps me out a lot, and then you know, you get a good deal still. It doesn't change the deal. They also sell inflators, battery pack jumpers. It doesn't have to be LED bulbs, but I think that's what their current product range is. Subscribe for more JDM content like this and other cool products. I will see you guys next time.